and gents. Welcome to the Beast Hub. Me and Jacob have just returned from watching 65. We
Yeah,
watched
we
it at the same
literally,
time.
yeah, we just pretty much watched it the exact same time. We got back at around the same time, and we're like, let's go talk about it while it's still fresh in our minds. We're talking about, of course, 65 million years ago, because that's what comes up after the movie starts. That's the title. So, all right. Well, we actually kind of just recorded this, but we're going to record it again because it all messed up on our end, right, Chuck?
Yeah, it was just
It
recording your
happens.
end
It happens.
and not
It
mine.
happens. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, you won't get that other version, but we're gonna go and talk about it still, nonetheless, because this movie is definitely worth talking about. So I want to go and start this off, pretty much saying that if you've been looking at movies and you like to look at reviews and stuff beforehand, you would notice that the reviews for 65 are kind of like either people enjoy it or they don't like it. And I can go and tell you right off the bat here that this movie is like the epitome of like it's an average good movie. It's definitely made for like a niche audience. So anyone who's saying it's spectacular is overhyping it. Anyone who says it's bad, they went into that movie 100% with expectations, thinking that it was something that it wasn't. So don't listen to that too much, because at the end of the day, this movie is its own thing. It's not a
hmm
Jurassic movie. It's not an action full-on film that a lot of people were thinking. It's not a big dumb dinosaur movie. So on that note, we're going to go and talk about this movie. We are going to talk about spoilers and all that good stuff. So like, if you haven't seen it, I recommend you to go watch it and then, put this
Then come
video
back.
and then come back. Yeah, like put this video on like watch later and then come back, because we're gonna go and spoil it. And this is the type of movie that like the spoilers kind of matter. It'll they could ruin the
Yeah.
experience. So, and I've already noticed some assholes in the comments going down and spoiling this movie. Like,
Don't be that.
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't be so petty. Don't go and like I've seen a lot of that coming on lately, to where someone wants to go and ruin someone's good time because they didn't like something, so they go and spoil it. Don't be
Yeah,
one of
like
those people.
yeah, like what
the
are you
hell?
trying to achieve here? Like you're not cool for doing that. Just let you
No,
know. Everybody thinks
no,
you're a colossal asshole.
even Batman. So don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Anyways, back to 65.
Back to 65. Well, let's talk
Let's
about what everyone wants to hear about first, Joe, and I think that is the dinosaurs.
Yes, the
First off,
dinosaurs.
I will say these are actually dinosaurs. We were wondering for the longest time, are these alien dinosaurs or are they like actually dinosaurs? Well, they are actually dinosaurs, and we'll get to why that is in the story later on. Or here,
Yeah, yeah,
we'll
they're
talk
they're
about that.
dinosaurs because this actually doesn't in fact take place on
On Earth.
Earth. So this
Yes.
isn't like an alien planet or anything. This is Earth 65 million years ago. Adam Driver's character and company come from an advanced civilization that existed 65 million years ago. And basically, long story short, he got a job as a pilot. His ship crashed on Earth, and it just so happened to be right before the asteroid event that ended up wiping up all the dinosaurs. So there's your setting. It does take place on Earth.
It is Earth.
We did have some theories floating around, including some that we mentioned on this channel, that this was a wormhole. That's how somehow they landed on Earth through going through a wormhole. No wormhole, no nothing. It's just humans existing,
Future humans, or no, past
future
humans,
or past.
sci-fi past humans, humans from the past.
Let's call them an advanced past civilization with
You know that,
futuristic technology.
yeah. You know that ancient alien show where the guy with the crazy hair all the time.
Yeah, yeah, the guy that got zapped.
He's
Him.
talking. He's talking. It's that. It's what that guy's talking about.
Yeah.
It came from the. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like Star Wars. You know, it starts off like a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away or whatever.
Mhm.
That's kind of what this movie kind of captures. It's like sci-fi. It's sci-fi more than it's like future sci-fi, if that makes sense. So it is. That's what the story is about. But it is. They are dinosaurs, and we see a good bit of them in this movie. Not as much as what a lot of people wanted, because I think a lot of people went into this movie thinking that it was going to be, like Dominion. Let's just throw as many dinosaurs on the screen as possible, regardless of any reasoning or explanation behind it. And the dinosaurs, they aren't movie monsters. One thing that I noticed while people were talking about this movie, and like we even thought about it, is I like these are some unrealistic looking dinosaurs. They're not like paleo accurate and all that. And while some of them they have like a unique look to them, that's definitely more. What's the word, Joe? They look a little bit Skull Islandy. They're a little
Yeah,
they're a little bit more savage than like what we would like. They're not as clean. Like they got like they just
they're
look
very jagged,
jagged.
grotesque. They
They
have
look
that grotesque
They
design.
have a little bit. They look like they're
Yeah.
from like the
You
Elden
know
Ring
who?
game a little bit.
You know what they look like? You know that Turok game, the latest Turok
Rock.
game? Those
Ah.
dinosaurs that they designed for that game, almost an exact copy paste. That T Rex, almost an exact copy paste.
This
I
this movie was. I think this movie was supposed to be Turok at first, and someone was like, "No, we're doing that in a few years. Good idea." Stay tuned, everyone. Let's hope that happens.
yeah,
Because this movie definitely had Turok vibes. But yeah. So like, I hate this. This sounds kind of weird, but like they kind of had like a shriveled look to them. They looked kind of.
yeah.
I bleep this out if you need to or not, but they look kind of ball sacky a little bit. Like I don't know how to describe it other more than that. Like they were
Prehistoric ball sack skins.
they were a unique look at dinosaurs. Like they had all the appeal of like the Jurassic Park dinosaurs, but just like they just looked less they looked less cuddly. Speaking of Jurassic Park dinosaurs, I heard that T-Rex roar in there for that one dinosaur, the four-legged one. It wasn't even a T-Rex, but they had the classic. So that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. But yeah, these dinosaurs are not what you would imagine. But I will say you've never seen a dinosaur, so we'll never really know what they look like. That being said, a lot of people went into this movie complaining that these dinosaurs weren't going to be paleo accurate. Well, I will go and tell you that they act about as real as animal like dinosaur things would act as like from my personal experience being around animals my whole entire life. This is much more like how dinosaurs would probably act than anything we've seen in this millennium. I mean, since like the very first Jurassic Park, maybe a little bit with Lost World,
Mhm.
we see them act like animals, and we haven't really seen that much. You know, like all the other dinosaur movies that we've gotten, minus the Peter Jackson's King Kong. That was those. They were fairly animalistic as well in that one. That was probably like the last great one that actually kind of captured how like
Yeah.
dinosaurs are animals and they're not monsters, or they're not like they're not like having a tear go down their face, like whatever the hell Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World's been trying to push, pretty
Yeah.
much making dinosaurs have more feelings than humans. I don't get that. So they may not look what you expected them to look like, and they're not in the movie the entire time. This is not a dinosaur movie. This is a survival movie with dinosaurs. So
Yeah.
get that kind of straight. One reason why people might be giving it negative reviews. It is not a
And
dinosaur movie.
I actually posted a poll on Goji Center, or just asking people, because I was really curious whether people were going to watch this or not, and I was like, "Are you going to watch 65?" And one of the comments that stood out to me was, "Oh, I'm not going to watch it because the dinosaurs aren't paleo accurate." Are you fucking kidding me? Come on, man!
Have
Like,
you
this
seen
is
one? Have you seen
no,
a
they haven't
dinosaur?
seen one. Like, no, they're not fucking time travelers. Editor, please bleep this out.
Bleep that
YouTube is
because they're
being a
coming
little
after us.
yeah, they're being a little bitch, and they're demonetizing everything. So please subscribe and support the Beast Hub. Anyways, back to this dude. Seriously, like if you're in there and you're gonna say no, I'm not gonna watch it because like the dinosaurs are not paleo accurate, dude. None of the dinosaurs are really paleo accurate. They're at besides prehistoric kingdom. Anything else is just like speculation, dude. I think whenever these producers started making this movie, I think that they came in with the idea that they're not going to make the dinosaurs paleo accurate. Like they knew this from the start. I'm like 100% sure. They're like, hey, especially at the very end with that last creature.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. Like we were fooled the entire time thinking that was a T-Rex. Well, no, it wasn't. It was some spawn from hell. Like it was crazy.
It was cool. If there was a dinosaur like that, which they're very, we don't even know what to call it.
We don't know yet.
The four-legged thing from hell. If that thing was, it could have been real, guys. Because remember, like we haven't found every dinosaur possible. Don't like we found like maybe 1% of everything that might have lived during that bazillion fucking was a bazillion, 150 million year span. So we don't know if that thing existed or not. As far as we know, it doesn't. Because it would have been way more badass than the T-Rex. That thing probably hunted T-Rexes. So that being said, they may not be what the current paleo community is trying to tell us what a dinosaur would like act or look like, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm fumbling over my words because they act like how dinosaurs should act. To be honest,
Yes.
outside of an animal documentary like Prehistoric Planet, like the dinosaur ones, this is
Mm-hmm.
probably as close as you would get to how these animals would act. They may not
Yeah.
look like we don't know what dinosaurs actually look like. They probably didn't look like what they look like in '65. They probably didn't. That being said, they probably acted a lot like how they did in this movie.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and
it was
the
cool to see.
you mentioned this in the previous recording that unfortunately didn't work. The part with the baby dinosaur getting destroyed
Yeah,
literally
so
right after
yeah,
like they got rescued.
we talked about that thing because I was saying how like out of all the dinosaurs, that might be the only one that was a little bit too much like a Pokemon, but that scene was special. I hated that scene because it was so cute and it hit me right in like you knew they wanted to attack animal lovers like me. They wanted to come at they
Yeah.
wanted to come at us with that scene. So like okay, spoilers. Like they saved this cute little baby dinosaur. I think it was a baby. It definitely had baby. It looked like a
it,
Pokemon.
it,
Let's just
it
call it a
had to
Pokemon.
it had to have been a baby
It
because
had to have been a baby. It's
yeah.
either a baby or a Poke dinosaur. So and then they save it and it walks off and it's like this touching moment and then the thing proceeds to get attacked by what like these I guess some sort of raptor dinosaur and pretty much gets ripped apart alive like what we see happen in the real world. Don't show it. Don't show it. Don't show it. They'll come after us. But like
Yeah.
if you see wolves attack something, yeah, that's what they did to this poor little thing. And it's like
Hmm.
I hate it. I don't want to see that, but that's how they would act. And it's not like any of them were like smiling afterwards, like they would have if it was in like some freaking Jurassic World movie to where like the dinosaurs are like, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha, I got you now. They just went like, it just
Yep.
kind of, they just stared because they're
Hmm.
freaking animals, man. So if you say it's not paleo accurate, then maybe you need to go hang out with some real animals and stop reading books.
Yeah. All right. So we covered the part that we explained that these aren't paleo accurate, but they acted like real animals. Let's go ahead and talk about the use of the big dinosaurs. Like obviously we were teased that there were T Rexes, or no, there was a T Rex that was going to be the main antagonist of the movie. What a twist, man! Like at the end, it ended up being spoilers. By the way, I think we settled that earlier.
It
Two T Rexes. Um,
was cool.
I didn't see that coming. I was like, oh shit! Like, all right, that's kind of cool. They're reminding me of like the two T Rexes that ended up killing the guy on the Jeep in Lost
It
World.
was very Lost World esque, and it even kind of had like the eeriness of it. Point being, back to how like dinosaurs used to act more like animals. You see, like there was
Mm-hmm.
one scene in it to where like it's like the window shot with the eyeball coming in,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like a Jurassic World movie where the eyeball goes and goes, hey, 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 hey. It didn't start smiling. It just went, and you knew like that's what an animal does, and you're like, it was just cool because it just looked and was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to eat it.
Yeah,
Like
it sees, it acknowledges, it eats. Like
it's like
that's what they
you
do.
go and look at a chicken. You ever see a chicken?
Mm-hmm.
You ever see a lizard? Hell, you even see any animal. That's how they act with food. They
Yeah.
just stare at it. They don't go like ooh ooh. So like very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice twist with those two T-Rexes, and that
Yeah.
reminds me. I don't think we talked about it in this recording either. We did in the last one. Gosh, it's gonna keep
Mm-hmm.
coming up. It was really good, guys. I swear. Uh, I talked about how like some people might not like the fact how not a dinosaur didn't get a single kill in this movie. No one died from a
No.
dinosaur. This isn't a typical like Jurassic movie to where people are dying left and right. Not a single human was killed. There was only two humans in this movie, more or less,
Yeah.
and they weren't killed by any dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Now,
but in this particular case, that wasn't a bad thing though,
no, it
because
made sense, and I'm
yeah.
gonna explain. Like they, okay, so this Mills guy, he's a pilot. He's probably got an ex-military training or something, or police or something. Futuristic guy, because he knows how to fight. He knows how to survive. This is a survival movie, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy knows what he's doing. And he has this futuristic gun that is like power based energy. I don't think it shoots like basic like bullets or anything. It's like some semi Star Wars thing. I don't know. It's cool though, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I hate to tell you guys who wanted to see dinosaurs rip people alive and how the movies have kind of brainwashed you to think that's what would happen. Realistically, a guy with that type of gun, with that type of training, with that type of experience, he would be able to do what he did in this movie. I mean, he was blasting them like he was a video game character because
Yeah.
that's what would happen. I'm sorry to tell you guys, but they're not monsters. They're not like these impervious, like these invincible beings. So
Hmm.
if you're upset that he went in there, or you don't think, or you're going into it thinking that we're going to see dinosaurs like rip people alive, no, because a human with a gun is still always going to more than likely win until that gun screws up, even
Yeah.
against T-Rexes. I'll tell you guys, he guns down both the Rexes, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh my god, no way!" Yes way, they're just animals.
Yeah, with a weapon like that, that is why we're on top of the food chain, because we come up with stuff like that. You know,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
didn't even take guns for us to be on top of the food chain. We developed spears and boom to the top. You know what I mean? This guy has a freaking gun, and he shot them. He shot the first T Rex in the eye, right?
yeah. He's smart. He
One
knew it.
shot
One
kill,
shot.
I'm not. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, ugh. Like my dinosaur fanboy in me got a
That's what I'm
little
trying to
upset.
get. That's what I'm trying to get
Yeah,
at. Yeah,
but
like
I
just
acknowledge I'm a grown man and I am mature enough to accept that in a real life situation, you one shot a T Rex in the eyeball, you liquefy its brains. That thing is dead. One shot. That I give him that. That was realistic. Okay, and I think what Jacob's trying to tell us is that that is what would happen if you hit an elephant in the eyeball. The elephant, that big old 13-foot tall beast, is going to die like that.
yeah.
Same thing with a T Rex.
Same thing, and the second one he like put like a bunch of rounds into and pretty much peppered the thing
Yeah,
until
there
it
was this
dropped
one
dead.
clip where he shot him like in the ankle, and you can
And then
see
you
like the
see his
bone
ankle blow
snap.
out. Yeah,
Oh,
and
and
that's
I was like, "Yep,
you
yep,
feel bad for the dinosaurs in this movie, like that, and that's kind of what was like. You know how like you get like feelings during when you're watching a movie, and like sometimes they go up and down. You get that feeling in your chest that kind of goes with the emotions in a
yeah,
movie. Like it kind of went up. Like every single time a dinosaur got killed, and like you were saying, I think that's just that dinosaur fanboy, the animal lover in me. I was just like, but
yeah."
it's just an animal, man. Like, God, that's intense. Like the little girl throwing like 17 grenades to kill that one
Oh
tiny
my
little thing.
gosh,
Like, it was like she didn't even need to. She could have just backed off, but she was
she
like,
could have
"Ah, bitch."
just won. She go
Yeah, just
bloop bloop
wanted.
bloop bloop
They
bloop.
could use that later on instead. Like, and so I felt a little bad for them, but I think once again that's because they felt like animals, not monsters. So the
Yeah,
point I'm getting at is that like it's what would probably happen if you have a trained survivalist who's familiar with
yeah,
high powered weaponry. He's going to win. Until he runs out of ammo or gives up or just takes one wrong turn and twists his ankle. He's gonna
yeah,
live. It ain't like the movies to where we always see the bad guy trip and fall, and then miraculously his gun falls 400 feet over there. And
yeah.
like it wouldn't happen. So I like
E-
seeing that.
Except he did run out of ammo, and he
He did.
basically he couldn't kill the last creature, which was, to me, it was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense now, because a little bit of pre-trailer history or pre-movie history. The trailer came out, and then that T-Rex, there's an image floating around the internet talking about how this T-Rex had like a really weird wonky back, and they're like, no, that's not a T-Rex, that animal
Uh,
has 3 claws and stuff, and a lot of theories were going out there. Oh no, this is not a T-Rex, and they're right, because in the end it turned out to be a third big dinosaur that wasn't a T-Rex. It was the dinosaur that like appeared in the waterfall scene, and it shot him in the eye or something, and then it was like half blind. That was actually like a quadrupedal T-Rex
yeah,
looking thing.
we don't know what that thing was. It was an alpha predator. That's what we'll call it. It
That
was
was the alpha predator, because
that
there's
was
no
the
way
thing.
those T-Rexes would have taken on that
No,
creature.
that's the mysterious creature that was more
Mm,
gangster than the T Rex, and it was cool and it makes sense. It was very weird looking, and the four legged thing. I see a lot of people getting they got weirded out by that, especially with like the little smaller little four legged things running through the trees and stuff. And I
yeah,
will say they kind of were weird when I first watched the trailers. I was like, okay, it's a little extreme. Like this looks like definitely like some alien creature more than a dinosaur. But after I watched it, like it didn't look as weird in the actual movie. When you actually had like a chance to see them move more, like they kind of looked. There was just the trailer showed like just one scene to where like you've seen their
hmm,
body and it looked all twisted and mangled like an alien. Like it just
yeah.
looked weird. But then when you seen it in motion, I'm like, something like this could have been around. You know, like it wasn't too. It looked like a real animal, and like I said, I just keep going back to that
Yeah, they
because
did execute the behavioral part well.
yeah,
I will give people the the point that this animal, we haven't found anything like this yet.
we don't
It
know.
was a bit
It's far fetched. It's
far
stretching it.
fetched.
It's stretching it.
The And the same goes with the very last animal. It
Yeah.
was
We don't know.
like
We
what
don't
the
know if it
heck.
was. Yeah, it was
Hmm.
definitely weird. We don't know. It's definitely like they were like, okay, so we got like the T Rex thing, we got the raptor things. All were pretty accurate. They had little quills on them, but it wasn't like they were
Hmm.
running around like a chicken. So it's like okay. And then this was kind of like they were like, okay, well, we got to step it up a little bit. All right. They
Let's
took
give them
a
something different. Yeah.
yeah, let's show them something that isn't. Let's do something different than Jurassic World or Jurassic Park, which thinks the only way to one up a T. We've had this discussion before about trying to always one up the T Rex instead of just going and making it like a T Rex Volume 2. They made it like a
Hmm.
whole new creature, a whole new monster. Instead of like, well,
Yeah.
we got the Spinosaurus, then we got the Giganotosaurus, then we got this Thesaurus. They were like, okay, well, we got weird alien thing, and I was cool with it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
care.
I saw it and I'm like, okay, like from even like before the movie came out, I already like kind of accepted the fact that these weren't paleo accurate. I'm like, all right, they could, for all you know, they could come up with freaking Godzilla stomping on the screen. I would have been okay. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. That's fine. I'm past that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this new animal, I like the surprise that they had for us. It was like, oh shoot, now the movie's gonna get good, but
Then it ends.
big homie got killed really fast.
Yeah, it
This
was
is the problem I have with big theropod, big monsters coming out at the end, and then they just kill them.
too quick.
Uh, I wasn't satisfied. I'm gonna be honest. I was not completely happy with how they treated this big giant animal. I thought this was gonna be like
It went by pretty quick.
the two T Rexes had a better fight sequence against
Yeah,
Adam Driver than this big final bad guy. Like he just got destroyed by the geyser or something. It was pretty grim. I give them that. They had like a really nice
it was a
boiled
cool.
alive
It was a good
looking.
idea, and it went right. And like,
It was predictable though, because in the
yeah,
beginning you saw him jump over the or see the geysers, and I'm like, okay, for my movie watching experience, this thing is going to appear later in the movie. So a lot of things were very predictable in this movie.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I feel like they could have done more with this last creature. What do you
Oh
think?
yeah, and I think that's a good kind of description of this movie. Now, the movie was made for a guy like me. I enjoyed it. A lot of you probably won't enjoy it, but like,
Hmm.
it is a movie that is solid, but it could have been a lot better with a few little tweaks. You could definitely tell this was a small budget movie. You could tell this was a
Yeah,
small production.
it had the what's it called? It felt like a troll
Like the
movie.
Troll movie. This
Like
is a movie that should have probably gone straight to streaming. Maybe. Other
yeah,
than the fact
that's
that it was cool. It felt like a streaming movie more than a big blockbuster movie theater movie. Which isn't a
yes.
bad thing. It just
It's
means that like, like it just wasn't this big grandiose thing as much as a lot of people
yeah,
felt. But it felt
the
more real and
production.
personal.
Yes, it did. The production quality, it reminded me of Troll, and the fact that the effects were good in Troll, right? It just didn't feel like, to your point, like the just giant huge blockbuster movie. And I feel like maybe that was the reason why this last creature didn't get as much screen time as we would have wished. I'm pretty sure almost everybody here can agree that this last animal should have at least had another minute
It needed a little bit
of
more.
time.
It
Yeah.
needed a little bit. I didn't really care about the dinosaurs not being in the movie all that much. This is a quick movie, guys, because this is a survival movie. It's not a dinosaur
Hmm.
movie. So when the dinosaurs did show up, there was a lot of impact. And then when they kind of did try to turn it into an action movie, it was done in about 10 minutes. So like it all made sense why it had to go by so quick because the asteroid was coming. Like the classic asteroid. So they had to go and run through it all pretty quick. It would have been good to give it a little bit more time. How this movie could have gone and not just been like something that's going to be a cult movie, because this will be a cult movie. Like people like me are going to enjoy this movie. If you like hiking or adventure and realism and stuff like that, you'll enjoy this movie. Um, But like if they wanted to go and become like a next big kind of like underground big hit that kind of like unexpected, they probably needed to have at least two or three more humans that the dinosaurs could have killed, and they needed to add a little bit more a couple little bit more of intensity. The movie just needed to be a little longer. It's you
Just
can
a
tell
little bit
it needed to be
longer.
about it was about an hour and a half of a movie and needed about 20 minutes more, and I
And
think it would have helped.
I feel like the cherry on top would be to, and probably not even a cherry on top. A big element here would be to make the Rexes feel more antagonistic than just like big forces
Showing
of
up
nature.
randomly.
Yeah, because and again, they do. There are animals and they should behave like animals, but like even some animals are intelligent to some degree to like kind of have like grudges with people. Like for
Well,
example, like
yeah,
or just like follow them. You know, give them that Spino treatment. You know,
they
because
did
the T Rexes kind of followed them, but I didn't feel it too much
they
like I
did
did
that
with.
more with the four-legged thing because that's the one with it sees them at nighttime. They shoot it
Uh
in the
huh.
face, and then it comes back, and you can tell it's like there's the bitch that shot me. So like they
Yeah,
had
but they did like a lot of time jumps though. Like it just happened here, and then at the end it like shows up. You know, I
yeah,
wish there
it
was like a
wasn't
little
like
in
a
between. Like
yeah, there wasn't like a consistent.
even if it's just a little clip of the dinosaur just like looking over like the footprints of Adam Driver and girl. Like he's like sniffs it and then he like looks up. Maybe we
It
get
played
like
a
a
little bit
side
more of like the big bad
view
guy. What I think this
ish.
movie did that I can appreciate because I'm a little bit of a softie, but I kind of like would have preferred it not to, is that I think it was more of a family movie than a rated R monster movie kind of scary thing. It wasn't like Pitch Black where it's like kind of scary, you know, the Riddick movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like that. It's like that's the type of movie that this is a survival movie. But it felt the little girl made it. She gave a lot of touching stuff, like there was a lot of heart, and it was good. But at times, it made it feel like this is a family movie. And there was a lot of focus on the whole on Adam Driver's character Mills, his daughter. And it was like a good story because like she spoiler, she's like got like future cancer or something like that, and she's like dying, and she ends up dying, and it's like you don't know, but it's like it's playing throughout the whole time, and it's real good, like gripping stuff. But like it took away from the survival and it took away from the intensity. It's like the movie didn't really know if it wanted to be a survival movie or like a heartwarming family movie.
Well, I'll okay. I see where you're coming from with it.
Kinda,
Kind of took away, but to me personally, I think it added to it because now we know why Adam Driver wants to survive because it kind of give him that sort of push. He's kind of like trying to
yeah.
redeem himself in saving
Yeah.
this girl because
Yeah,
he
that's
couldn't
what,
be there
yeah.
for
No, I
the other
liked
girl.
it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I liked it. I just didn't necessarily. I'm saying like some people might not like it because of that,
Uh huh.
because they're going to go into it thinking it's a dinosaur action adventure. Well, it's not. It is first and foremost. You're. I seen some people complaining about it before I went and watched the movie, and then I just stopped reading comments because just whatever, people like to throw their opinions out too much, as we're throwing our opinions out. Yeah. But it just like it's like yes, it's about Adam Driver's character's dead daughter. Like the big plot point of the movie is like his emotions towards like opening up again, and like you see like Al made a good point. I was texting him like right after I got done, and he was like, it was pretty cool. Like his character, it kind of seemed like he couldn't act at first, but then it was like I realized that like he's just was playing like he was closed in because his daughter died, and you didn't know that in the
Hmm.
beginning because they played out like she's still alive, but then you realize his daughter was dead, and that's why he was all just like, because like his daughter was dead, like happened during this
Yeah.
trip, so like it
Hmm.
happened relatively recently, and then as the movie went on, it's like he opened up out of his shell and he kind of came back. So it's this movie had a lot more going for it, and we're kind of hitting our limit here. It looks like Joe.
Yep.
So I want to go and leave this video because it's kind of like a bantery sort of style review, right? I want to go and leave this movie with, if you enjoy niche survival stuff, if you're a hiker, if you're an outdoor enthusiast, if you're an animal lover, but you're not like one of them ones that are like get all anal about it to the point where it's going to ruin your day if a T-Rex don't look like a T-Rex, you're going to love this movie. It's definitely made for like your guy, it's get made for your 30-year-old who likes to hike out in the woods and is debating on whether or not he wants to have kids.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like it is made for a niche audience. So go into it with that in mind. This movie's not perfect. It's nowhere near perfect. It's got plenty of flaws. It could have been a lot better, but looking at it for what it is, it did the trick to me. And I think you may not enjoy it if you're just like a big dinosaur fan. If you love Jurassic World Dominion, you might say, "This is boring." It's not just it's just not made for you. But that's okay. I think, like this at the end of the day, this is a movie that reminds me of 80s, 90s, and thousands B movies. Back when we used to get movie diversity before Marvel came and made it to where every single movie that comes out needs to be a big blockbuster or it needs to be some Oscar-winning thing. So we got Cocaine Bear, we got 65, we got all these kind of movies that kind of were dead for the last decade, coming back, and I think that's cool. Movie diversity is good. Not
Yep.
everything has to be what not everything has to be the same. It's good to have movies that are considered dumb movies like Cocaine Bear. It's good to have movies that kind of aren't exactly what you think they are, but like 65, but it ends up still being a good time. So that's kind of where I rank this movie. It is just, what do you say, Joe? Like, what would you call those movies? It is a cult movie. It is just like, you know, I don't
So
know.
it's catered to a certain audience, but I think whoever watches it, like if you just give it a chance, I think you'll like
Give
it.
it a
So
chance. I don't think
yeah.
any. I think the people that are being very negative are not giving this movie a chance. They went into it with the wrong expectations, and they're
Having
not.
said that, I think people who made it this far in this video have probably already watched the movie and they're just like, we already saw it, dude. So to you guys who watched the movie and are watching this video, just go recommend it to your friends. It's a good movie, dang it. Like just
Yeah,
go
yeah. If
watch.
you've already watched it, this was kind of like telling. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Give it a chance. If you have already watched it and you think we need more stuff like this, go tell other people and go start saying like, "Hey, this is kind of cool." Because at the end of the day, it promotes diversity. It promotes more dinosaur movies, and maybe we'll get that dinosaur movie you want, like a Turok movie,
Heck yeah.
straight up. So we'll leave it there.